You don't want to talk to those relatives because at the end of the day, it's not just about business, it's about seeing your father working so hard. For me, success really is about inner success and peace. My dad helped them with something like paying for their electricity bill or something, or helping them with some certain equipment. And now, mashallah, they've grown quite a lot in Pakistan. Stay true to yourself in terms of use your femininity in a way that you don't have to compete with a man. Never think that you're lesser than anyone. You can go into any room, any place, and just shine. And my dad gave me all these opportunities, even though we come from a Pakistani background, a Muslim background, that gives me that confidence. Again, all credit to my dad. If you're chasing money, you will always keep chasing it. Keep family and business separate. But if you see something is not going right, reroute from an early stage.
Introducing Bakhtaver Mohammad from Austria to the UK. She's a tech leader who grew up blending cultures and shattering glass ceilings. Raised with strong family values and a global perspective, she's here to talk about balancing identity, business, integrity, and what it really makes to thrive. Let's dive in. This episode of PCHM is proudly brought to you by Yafa Limited, your premier source of authentic Palestinian produce and finest quality dates in the UK. All right, Bakhtaver, thank you very much for your time. I'm really excited to have you on because, I know you were born in Pakistan, grew up in Austria, and then, in this country you studied in UCL as well, and you were in the leadership roles as a Muslim Pakistani woman. How did it the outlook, how did it shape throughout? Just talk us through growing up. How did you get into where you're at right now?
Firstly, thank you so much, Majid Bhai, for having me here. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. Yes, a lot to talk about in terms of Pakistani heritage. So we are very much community focused. We're very hospitable people, and I think all of that came into how it shaped me getting into leadership in general. Coming back to family, I don't think leadership is something that I chose, it's something that found me. I'm the oldest of 5 children, and naturally when you're the firstborn, you're already in a place of taking lead, taking initiative, being the responsible one in the family. So just even starting from my heritage, my background, my family environment, it's something that has always been there as a foundation. And
what's your early, tell me in detail, what was your early interaction with money and entrepreneurship? Because as a Pakistani woman, things are a bit different, isn't it? So how was your experience with money and entrepreneurship?
So my very first memory of money, I think it's pretty much the same for everyone when it comes to pocket money. Thinking back to Austria, so we used to go to this confectionery store. We would get €1 or €2, and my siblings would get the same amount. For some reason, my sisters, they would end up just buying one thing for $150 or something. And me, I would take my time and think, okay, how can I maximize that money? And I would come up with this massive bag full of sweets. And they would always look at me how do you get so much? And I only have one thing. So I think my earliest memory from money starts with that. I always used to take my time, think about how I can maximize value out of the same amount compared to my siblings who would just kind of go in there straight, pick up the first thing and come out.
All right, tell me about your growing up in Austria. How was it?
I think my childhood is probably one of my most favorite memories growing up. Alhamdulillah, I had a very blessed and privileged childhood in terms of I never had to worry about anything in terms of financial restrictions, schooling, everything. I think Austrian life in terms of quality of life is a lot higher compared to the UK. In fact, when we decided to move to the UK, everyone told us, "Are you crazy? Why are you moving from Vienna to the UK?" So again, all of that kind of was put into how I grew up. I had a very good quality of life growing up. My schooling was really great. We used to have a lot of exposure of going on trips. We used to travel a lot, go back to Pakistan quite a lot, almost every year as a child. So that all kept us connected to our roots as well, whilst also growing up in a global city like Vienna.
And how was your Any memory from Pakistan, because you were born in Pakistan? How old were you when you moved to?
I was very young. I was just 2 or 3 years old.
Okay.
So my father, he already worked in Austria. He lived in Austria for more than 20 years. So I was born in Pakistan, and then 3 of my other siblings, they were all born and raised in Austria. So very early on, I think my earliest memories were just me growing up in Austria. I don't remember Pakistan as a child. But apart from when we used to go and visit on holidays, seeing my grandparents, family, we used to really enjoy that.
It must be like a yearly thing, isn't it? There has to be. Holiday is Pakistan,
Yes,
isn't it?
I think for majority of us, the holidays we used to go to were just back home, because obviously like our parents who moved from there, they wanted to go and visit their families. So every year we used to spend our holidays for like 2-3 months in Pakistan.
So in this cross-culture thing, Pakistan, Australia, UK, must have given you a very unique perspective towards life, because the more places you live, more culture you experience, you think differently, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I have been very connected to my kind of heritage from an early age. And growing up in Austria, I had that Western upbringing as well in terms of values and seeing the difference. My dad sometimes tells us the same. When you compare it with people back home, we are a lot more straightforward, very honest. And I think I see that in very different areas. I see the difference in the Pakistani side of me. I see the difference in the European upbringing of me. And I just try and balance that out based on, what are the good sides of our faith, what are the good sides of our culture, of our heritage, the community aspect, hospitality, relationships, family, and also at the same time having strong morals and values. How's your integrity? How honest are you? Being straightforward with people. Those things are something that I balance with my Pakistani heritage and my European upbringing.
And that's why I'm going to ask you in Urdu, right? This one. वो कहते हैं ना कि लीडर जो है वो इमरान खान के बारे में भी कहते हैं ना कि leaders are born. They are not. You can't make them.
Yeah.
Is there how much, because you are, mashallah, you're a leadership role in communities and stuff. You're doing a lot of work. So what do you think about that?
I totally agree. I think when it comes to leadership, being visionary is something that you can't really teach people. I've seen quite a lot of these programs. I mean, it's great. You can probably adopt it as you go, obviously build confidence. And many people do that. They have a lot of programs where you can teach people leadership, creative thinking, problem solving. But at the core of it, I think, like you said, you are born leaders, or it's something that shapes you from an early age. I think there was a research that I recently came across that majority of leaders or people that are in a higher power position, CEOs, managers, not to say that others can't, but majority of them are firstborns. And that's because of that environment where you are placed in that position of responsibility and leadership from an early age.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's the moment? There were some moments, like obviously you're still, mashallah, very young. Like there was any moment in your life you felt like, oh, I can't handle this. Why did I get myself into this?
I think it all comes down to my mindset and how my father has raised me. He's never taught me to kind of give up. Even in situations where I felt that, I can't make it, he's always told me to be strong, which sometimes could be counterintuitive because sometimes you just want to let yourself go. But my father has given me that kind of hard love, tough love, as you call it, even though I'm his daughter, but being the oldest, I got that tough love side of things, which really shaped me into, I can't give up. Everything that comes my way, it's okay. I can make through it. So I don't think there was ever a time where I thought, no, I have to give up.
All right, you talked about just your dad. So let's talk about your father and the relationship. Explain me like a Pakistani dad and, you grew up in Australia and Europe and in the UK. So just tell me about this relationship between you and your dad.
So starting from, again, my family background, we're 5 kids, 4 of us are girls, and we have 1 boy. Now, immediately from Pakistani background, everyone is going to think, oh, the boy must be the spoiled one or the favorite one. but that's not the case with us. My dad, kudos to my mother as well, but I think fathers are at the forefront of this. He has never differentiated between my brother or me or us as girls. He used to get kind of people talking like, oh, you just have 4 girls, you don't have a boy. Again, which he never really let him get to himself. He always said that, you know what, my daughters are my strength. And the way he has raised us, he's always said, you know, you do whatever you want in your life as long as you're keeping your morals, your values and your character strong. And again, our relationship has been very open-minded. There are instances where, you know, with girls, sometimes you go to your mom and you're like, hey, mom, can you speak to dad with us? We go to our dad because that's how he has fostered our relationship to be very open-minded. He himself has grown up in Pakistan, but he has adopted his way of thinking, obviously raising us in Austria in a very European-centric environment. So I really respect him for that. He has kept his roots and values, but also adopted with the modernization and understanding that, you know, culture has nothing to do with suppressing voices, or your daughters are not allowed to do this. Your sons can, you know, go out there, do other things, but your daughters should just be confined in a space at home, or somehow they're less valuable to men, which again, nothing, even in Islam, there's no such thing. So I think that relationship between my father and even my siblings see that. We really respect him because of that.
And one piece of advice he always gives, you know, like dads, they say, okay, beta, always remember this.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything like this that he always tells you?
Yeah, like I said, the main thing that he said, that you can do whatever you want in your life as long as you keep your character strong and you know who you are. So no one will dare to, you know, say anything to you. That's one thing that always sticks to me. As long as your character, your moral, your values are strong, you can do whatever you want in life and no one can stop you.
And you are you and your dad are business partners as well. You guys work together, run a kind of like 2 countries like Pakistan and Britain as well. So you guys running that business together. So just tell me, I just wanted to know that what one lesson you have learned from since your early age, and you saw your dad doing this business, you're trying to help him out, or you are leading the business now. One lesson you learned throughout your working life that no degree can teach you?
I think for me, the biggest lesson in business has been that trust is currency, and people are at the forefront of everything, more than profits, more than revenue. You need to be able to have that trust in your people, in your workers, in your managers, in your laborers, everyone that you're working with. If the people are not working together, if they're not aligned with your vision, then no matter how amazing your product is, how amazing your strategy is, there's always going to be some kind of dips. So trust is at the forefront of regardless of what you do in life, especially in business.
And how do you give me an example? You elaborate a bit, like how this trust, how does it work? Like, for example, I've got a company or organization, I've got people working. So you show them trust in a way that you make them feel like you've been trusted and respected. That's how it works. How does it work?
It's a two-way thing, of course, with my dad. So our business model works so we're based in Pakistan. Our factory is based in Pakistan, but we live in the UK. And one of the biggest, again, lesson I guess is if you're doing a business, you need to be present. It's very difficult running a business across different continents,
of course,
and especially when it comes to Pakistan. I don't want to put Pakistanis under fire here, but it's very difficult doing business with them. That's where the trust comes in. And even though we have that community heritage factor in there, when it comes to business, people just look at what they can get out of you, and that again affects not just that individual or the business, but even long run. Like maybe in the short term, you can have your own agendas. You might not align on the values and the vision. You're being entrusted to run something on behalf of someone whilst they're away. Temporarily, you might gain some profit out of that, but in the long term, obviously, that can affect trust, not just within the business or you, but you as a person. I think everyone that we've worked with who we feel that might have broken our trust somewhere down the line, they've always seen, you say what's that saying? You reap, no, you sow what you reap, or something like that. Or it's the other way around. Yeah. So trust, again, I think it can go a long way, not just in terms of making revenue, profits, having a good working relationship, but also how it then reflects in your life on a day-to-day. So which includes having that trust with your workers. My dad, he treats everyone equally. He works 24/7. He's on call 24/7 with his workers, whether it's some investors, or whether it's his laborers. It's that communication. He tells them look, if you cannot deliver something on time, just be honest with me, but I need to know. So again, it's whether that trust is between manager and employees, whether that trust is between investors. That trust needs to be there in order for any business to flourish, and for you to flourish as an individual as well.
Of course. And then any challenge, obviously you mentioned the work ethics are different in Pakistan, and things are different here. Just be honest and tell me openly, what was the main challenge you feel like you got involved with your dad in the business, and then when you got involved, you were like, oh, this is kind of I can't believe this. That's how they operate. Did you feel anything?
Obviously, in terms of business acumen, I feel like people in Pakistan are very laid back. And like I said, you need to be present there for people to really take it seriously. I've had my fair share of arguments with my dad, because our factory back home was run with family. They weren't business partners, it was just entrusted to run it. And obviously they were managing the factory back home, because my dad, he lived here. He did travel back and forth quite a lot, but we were growing up at that time. He needed to be present with us going to school. He couldn't be in Pakistan 24/7, so there was a lot of traveling back and forth. And he entrusted, his family back home, the relatives. And obviously we had our fair share of, if you can see that it's not working out, it doesn't matter if they're your relatives, mamu ka beta hai, ya chachi ka beta hai. It doesn't matter. With business, if you can see that this is not benefiting you, just tell them to step aside. There's no need of keeping a relationship or family ties. That's why you have to keep family and business separate. So, but if you see something is not going right, reroute from an early stage. Don't wait. Don't give them chances more than what they deserve. And we've had to do that multiple times. We've had to restructure multiple times. Kabhi ek ke saath, kabhi dusre ke saath. I told him, you know what, just at this point, stop trusting family. At this point, I would much rather invest in more professional, someone outsider. But it's the same thing. At this point, there comes a time where you just want to give up. Even if you go outside of family or inside, the key thing is you just have to be present there. And
And what do you think about relatives? For example, if you're here and anyone who's running a business here, and for example, the manufacturers are in Pakistan, and as you said, your dad was trusting your relatives to look after his relatives to look after him. So do you think that can create problems within the family as well, because things are not going fine, and then they take they take it personal as well, isn't it? If you tell them, all right, step aside, and you get. So did you face anything like this?
Yeah, definitely. I think at this point there are a lot of family members which I don't want to even look at. Because I've seen how much hard work my dad has put into this business for 2 decades now. And seeing him work so hard, and then those people back home benefiting to the point where they're literally building their own empires and their own homes from the same business money, and we're out here struggling to, my dad is waking up, not struggling, I mean he's the one who's putting all the hard work. Going back, you don't want to talk to those relatives, because at the end of the day, it's not just about business, it's about seeing your father working so hard. And then those people, it all affects your reputation and credibility as well, right? And those people kind of taking advantage of that, and him giving them so many chances of, let's sit down. He's had cameras everywhere, accountants in back, everyone managing different things. But despite that, he's who else should we trust? Even relatives, you can't work with them. If it's an outsider, they will do the same thing. But for me, obviously that has really frustrated me over the years. it's easier, it's better to just reroute and work with someone else rather than keeping the same people, especially if they're in your family. And then that familial tie comes in. When we now go back to Pakistan, I don't want anything to do with them just because of how I have seen the relationship in the business go with them. And I don't respect that anymore. So again, that's something that my dad had to navigate around as well, because as long as he's there, that familial tie will stay. But for us, the future generations, we've seen the mismatch. So going forward, we also lose trust, not just in the family, but also in the people back home. And again, that has a wider benefit to how much do you want to invest in your country? Why would I want to do business with people back home when I could just do something here?
So let's this question I really wanted to ask you, because remember I met you a few times, so many times, but always wanted to understand this, like, as you grew up in a business environment, your dad was a business person and got involved into it. So what did you learn from your dad? Like, tell me this, are you like a risk taker, or do you like to play safe with your money?
I think you need to be a strategic risk taker. You can't just close your eyes and be like, oh yeah, taking risk at anything. You need to have some sort of a safety net. With my dad as well, I think an entrepreneur is all about taking risks. Sometimes that risk is not just about starting something, but also leaving. Again, coming back to the family, like leaving like that partnership with this family member. Again, it wasn't really a partnership. It was more just about entrusting them to lead certain things. So for me, again, taking risks is not just about blindly starting something or leaving something. You need to take your time, assess if something is not working out, and it's been many years now, then obviously it's time to take that risk to either like completely diversify, leave. I've had conversations where I said, you know what, I'm at this stage where I've been so put off working with certain group of people that I don't see myself leading this going ahead. I would rather work directly with investors or suppliers instead of having to manage a whole kind of manufacturing back home. So again, taking risks, again, this also comes, that these are some conversations that I've had with my dad, that taking risks also means you need to be strategic and understand what's working for you, what's not working for you. If you've already taken so much risk and seen the highs, seen the lows, just go with what you think is best for you, rather than constantly thinking about, okay, how is that going to affect everyone around me? Because at one point, when other people are not thinking about you, you need to realize, stop giving too much of yourself and contain yourself as well, and your value and your self-worth, which comes again into business, into obviously when you're running a business, other people's livelihoods are affected as well. But at the same time, if it comes at the cost of your own peace, at the cost of your own relationships, familial ties, again, long-term legacy and impact, sometimes you just have to take those risks, those strategic risks of either leaving or starting something new.
What's the Pakistani style of business, your dad's style of business? Is he like very simple, straightforward kind of, all right, that's profit, loss, that's it, that's what I'm buying this much, selling it for that much, and that's it? Or is it very strategic style, like, or how does it work?
With my dad, so this is where we kind of clash in a lot of things. So when he's dealing with clients,
two different generations, isn't it? Your dad and you.
So when he's dealing with clients, for example, he's very much kind of negotiation, verbal. Let's get this deal done, and we'll work it out in the future. I'm like, no, you need to get a contract in place. You need to do all the paperwork. You need to do this. He's like, oh no, they're good people. We'll sort it out. And I'm just like, have you not learned? What's the point of you telling me to do this? And when I'm telling you, you know, we need this in place, we need this in place. And those moments like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And then again, we would see something go wrong. And I'm like, see, I told you. So I think there is a clash when it comes to, he wants me to lead those things. But when I tell him what we need to do, then it's like, oh, I know better.
I mean, he's a dad, so obviously he knows better. But then it's a good thing, isn't it? You guys can complement each other as well. He has got his own thinking, the way he does it, and then you can bring something. It's good to have this kind of teamwork, isn't it? Does it help?
No, it does definitely help. I mean, he's obviously he knows what Pakistani people are like. He knows how to handle them. I can't, unless I'm just going there to sit in the fancy office and doing like signing off things. That's what I can do. I can't deal with people back home. I can do that's why we've kind of left the old Pakistan side of dealing with him. I mostly deal with the UK client base, any kind of client meetings, negotiations, all of that. I'm more than happy to lead that. But like you said, it complements. He has that. Even then, I feel like he's way too generous and straightforward. He doesn't see when people are trying to use him for certain things. But
or maybe ignore him.
He maybe ignores it, but then this is sometimes, I mean, I value that about him, but at the same time it annoys me as well, because it just reflects his own heart. Like, he just assumes the best of people. And this is what I've learned, that just because you assume the best of people doesn't mean everyone is going to want the same back. But alhamdulillah, I have seen how certain things have worked out for him as well. For example, some investors that we're working with now, when we initially started off, they were just starting off as well, and I think my dad helped them with something like paying for their electricity bill or something, or helping them with some certain equipment. And now mashallah, they've grown quite a lot in Pakistan. They have clients in like Canada and the US, and they again want to work with us now. And my dad was telling me that we are trusting you simply because you helped us at a time when we needed it. And I think it does come back in one way or another, that when you're there for other people, it will pay off eventually in the long run.
Yeah, and tell me about it. Are you in favor of reinvesting in business or creating personal wealth? What do you believe in?
Reinvesting into the family business?
In the business, yeah. Business
of course, I think I'm, again, coming back to being like the oldest and the firstborn, even without my dad telling me, it was something that I've taken responsibility of, that I'm going to be the one taking charge of this. So I have my vision for it, going into like global expansion. I have my vision for that. And I would be more than happy to reinvest in that, given that my dad is also on the same page as when I tell him this is what we should do, this is what we shouldn't do. And also at the same time creating personal wealth as well. I think because I've now worked in a professional space as well, with my background in tech and business, I want to also leverage that, use my skills that I've learned, again, thanks to him for giving us those opportunities, keep the business whilst also investing in my personal wealth at the same time. And
give me 3 top lessons you have learned throughout your business career. Like every new entrepreneur, like budding entrepreneur, someone who wants to start the business, what should they? So I think the key thing is understanding your cash flow is a lot more important than profits. Having a healthy cash flow rather than focusing on profits. That's very important. Again, trust, building that trust with your workers, your employees, your investors. And then third, taking that risk, but strategically. When something is going right, okay, do that, scale it. If something is going wrong, learn from it and reroute quicker. Don't just keep giving it more and more time. I think that's those 3 key lessons. That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Bakhtaver. So now we're going to move on to kind of like women in tech. That's what you studied, and the leadership. So what do you think, like, was there any one moment where you felt underestimated obviously you are in tech, so not many women are there. So, and how did you respond to it? Yeah, you were right. In terms of like STEM fields as well, tech is one of the most, how would you say, one of the biggest areas with inequality when it comes to male versus female workforce. I think, again, I don't want to sound arrogant or overconfident, but it all comes with the mindset and what my father has taught me. I've never felt minimized in any setting because I know what I bring in terms of my values, in terms of my kind of character, outwardly, how I look. I don't feel that pressure when I go into a room that, I'm just the woman here. I look at it as an honor and a pride and use that as an opportunity to turn it around and represent what we really are about, what Pakistani women are about, what Muslim women are about. So again, I've always felt
that being in those spaces, being in male-dominated environments, has been more empowering rather than feeling that pressure.
Okay, Bakhtaver. So, as you said, where does this confidence come from? Like walking into the room full of like business leaders, or mainly men and stuff. Where did you get this confidence from when you walk in?
I think majority of that comes from my upbringing and from my father, in how he has always taught me to never think that you're lesser than anyone. As long as you have your character is strong, your morals are upright, you can go into any room, any place and just shine. I think it also started when, back to that family environment, being forced in that leadership position at the same time, but then naturally always being entrusted to lead when I'm going out with my siblings. It's not very normal for Pakistani women to travel alone, for example, but when I was 16 years old, I went alone on a school trip. I mean, it was a school trip to Vegas.
Oh, wow. That must be fun, isn't it?
To Vegas and San Francisco. Again, very different. It's not typical destination for Muslim women to go to. But again, my
how
father...
was the experience? Explain to me. You were 16-year-old in Los Angeles.
16-year-old hijabi walking around Vegas. It was fun. Obviously, it was part of my economics department, business and economics department, and I already spoke to my dad earlier before choosing my A-levels that, you know, we have these big business trips. People go to China, they go to that Washington. So my dad, I remember he was on a business trip to Pakistan at that time. So I just called him and I was like, do you remember when I told you that in A-levels we're going to have trips? And then he said, yeah, what about it? So I said, so our economics department is planning to go to the US, to Vegas and San Francisco. And obviously I really want to go. And he was like, okay.
That's brilliant from a Pakistani dad. Like, it's okay.
Keeping in mind, I to be honest, I never really asked them when, you know, in year 7, you have these ski trips, you go to Germany, you go to France. I never asked them at that time because I knew I won't be allowed. But once I got to my sixth form and A-levels, I realized that obviously I've already got that pre-permission from my dad. And you
planned for it, isn't it? You paid him mentally.
Yeah, and it was all self-funded as well. And I think at that time it was like maybe like £2,000 or something. So, and he just said, okay. So I was like, am I dreaming or something? But yeah, it started from there. And then even now when I talk about that, compared to my siblings, like they're not allowed to do many things that I was allowed to do. So I think that gives me that confidence where my dad gave me all these opportunities, even though we come from a Pakistani background, Muslim background, that gives me that confidence. Again, all credit to my dad for that. Yeah.
And you have been a STEM woman ambassador and attended the UN Commission on the status of women. What barriers do you see for Muslim women in leadership today?
I think in terms...
Or Pakistani women, South Asian women mainly.
I think barriers are definitely kind of being reduced, especially because a lot of these opportunities are coming out. There's still a lack of representation and visibility where Muslim women are not seeing those role models and then stepping into these fields. I think representation is very important because it sparks that interest, right? You look at someone and be like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it too. And we have been seeing a lot more Muslim leaders. In Pakistan, for example, our first female prime minister of a Muslim country, Benazir Bhutto. Yeah,
that was back in 1990s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but for me, that's very visionary. That's very encouraging that if someone like her can do it, anyone can do it, you know? So visibility is very important in breaking down these barriers. Representation is very important.
So did you get your inspiration from Benazir Bhutto that time? Was like later on when she is the female prime minister and stuff? Did you play any role?
Yeah, all of like any woman who's doing amazing in their field, respective fields. I think I get a lot of inspiration for all of them, whether it comes like, you know, academia, politics, sports. Recently in the Paris Olympics, for example, we've seen a female hijabi boxer. I think her name is Tina Rahimi.
Afghan, isn't it?
She's Afghani, I believe.
So,
yeah. again, we might be completely wrong. But then all of that makes, they all inspire you, right? So it makes you realize how important visibility and representation really is in breaking down these barriers. And I'm really thankful to you, for example, you've invited me along to Islam Channel a number of times now. And that gives a stepping stone into, you know, being out there, being visible to inspire other women, having that advocacy and mentorship opportunities, starting from like a small scale, and that's how you build up. So it's not just about how you can break into these fields, but also how our community who are already in these higher positions, how they can give opportunities. So again, I really appreciate you for always supporting these kind of causes. And yeah, I'm really seeing the change, but there's a lot more work to be done in terms of breaking down these barriers when it comes to access, visibility, and representation.
All right, before we move on, we moved on from that topic, but I wanted to ask, I just realized now, like your dad has always been supporting you. How was your mum? How she used to react? Before we move on to more technical side of things, STEM and stuff.
So obviously, you know, they say that mothers are the ones that, what was the thing? तो मुझे जो main बात होती है वही भूल जाती है. I mean, mothers are the ones that inspire the generations, right? Women are the ones that inspire the next generation. Of course, my father has been that pillar of keeping us up. But my mom, if she wasn't there, my father wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. She got married growing up in Pakistan, moved to Austria. Again, language is very different. You speak German over there, raising 5 kids by herself while my dad was working multiple jobs at that time. And again, I look at that and I'm like, how did she manage to do that?
That's
and
incredible.
I get a lot of strength and that feminine side of what power really means. Obviously, when people think of leadership, power, it's associated with masculine traits. But I feel that femininity is a lot more stronger, whether it comes through nurturing your homes, building your generations in a homely environment. All of that comes under soft power. And I really respect my mother in everything that she's done, the sacrifices, the way she has led not just our upbringing, but even supporting my father in every aspect of his life, from making the move from Pakistan to Austria. Then when we were very well settled, alhamdulillah, in Pakistan as well, my father was in a very good position in his career as well. Again, they decided to make a very big move to move to the UK just for their kids, so that we can have a global kind of education, higher education in the UK. And they didn't want to send us as international students alone. Of course, my mom is very protective in that sense. 4 girls, 1 boy. They decided to make the move. Again, at a very pivotal point in their life where they could have easily, stayed there. And making a big move again, financially as well.
Moving is from Pakistan to Australia, and then
Austria to the UK, and then starting and then starting your own business. My mom has supported my dad at every stage, and even how she has raised us. She has kept that, the culture alive, the faith, the Islam alive in us, and my father has been there to give us the confidence. So for me, my parents are the pinnacle, the epitome of what leadership and strength really means.
You learned it from them at home, isn't it? They are leading you guys.
Exactly,
So what one advice you're gonna want to give it to a young Pakistani girl in this country or in Pakistan or where, like in European or American, wherever they are, like if they want to get into tech and leadership role, what one advice you want to give it to them?
I would say don't downplay your ambition and stay true to yourself. If there's something that you enjoy, reach out to the people who are already doing well in those fields. The most people are going to say is no, but majority of the time, just take out some time to speak to them, build your network. They say your network is your net worth. The net worth is your net worth.
Something like that.
Something like that. I would really encourage not just Pakistani women, but all Muslim women to really invest in their network, especially when they're at school, at college, at university. That's that time where they're really exposed from people to different people from all walks of life. When I was at university, for example, I was in leadership positions then. became the president of the UCL Pakistani Society, and that opened a lot of doors for me. I was meeting, ministers from Pakistan. I was partying.
And how was the experience, like meeting ministers from Pakistan?
Again, it makes you feel, when you're looking at it from the outside, you probably think that, I would never meet these people. But just because I was studying at that institute, just because I put myself out there to be in that leadership role, it makes you realize that it's so easily attainable. Like, no one is up there. Like, for example, now that I look at or the recent UN General Assembly that was happening, when I look at it, I'm like, I can be there. There's nothing that's stopping me from being there. So again, it's all about your network and how much you put yourself out there. If you're not going to put yourself out there, you will never gain those skills. You will never meet those people and build that confidence.
And what are your top 3 skills every woman, in your opinion, needs to work in a male-dominated industries?
Top 3 skills?
Yeah.
I think the first thing, obviously you have your key skills that are required in the field, like your technical skills, your skills that you learn from your degree, from your projects. Stay true to yourself in terms of use your femininity in a way that you don't have to compete with a man. You need to understand your power as a woman. I truly believe that we don't need to compete with men in many ways. We have our own strengths, whereas we're very good at multitasking.
No doubt.
Do what you're good at in terms of, obviously, if you're someone who enjoys being at home, being in a nurturing environment, at the same time, don't think that that's going to restrict you from building a career. Just really understand yourself as a woman, and that will help you understand the power that you truly hold. Don't focus on being in that male-dominated environment and what you need to do to compete with them. Learn about yourself, learn about what it means to be a woman, learn about what Islam teaches, because Islam really empowers women more than anything, to be honest. And I think when you come to that realization, you don't feel that hesitation even in male-dominated fields and environments. So in terms of skills, obviously you have your key technical core skills, managerial, all of that. Build that with your universities, networks, do as much placement, practical work as possible. But beyond everything, understand yourself, understand your key strengths. What are you good at? For me, it took me a long time to understand that, because I was in that natural leadership position from the get-go. How can I leverage that? I enjoy strategic planning, execution, advocacy, because I've naturally been in that position from an early age. So really learn about what shapes you, what strengths you have, and even if there are weaknesses, how can you turn them around?
That was really powerful, by the way, where you said that you don't need to compete with men. So that's where the people normally generally mess things up. So that's really powerful. And so I'm just want to know, be curious about it. Like, obviously you're a successful businesswoman. Like, what success for you? What success means to you? Like back 10 years ago when you started, or whenever you started working with your dad on your business, what you were used to think like what success looked like, and right now, what do you think what success is?
I think there are 2 ways. So initially for me, success was like, being out there, being with like world leaders, all of that, fine. It's more kind of title based, or being in a public facing role. But over time, I feel success has really changed for me, based on, how life experiences shape you, things like that. And for me, success really is about inner success and peace, and how much I feel at peace with myself as a Muslimah, and really being connected to, your deen, and then use that in every step of your life, to, anchor yourself in faith to do whatever you want. So for me, success is not defined by like titles or, being out there in the public. It's more about how much am I at peace with myself? Am I praying on time? Am I, being a good person? Am I giving back? What's making me happy? And if I'm happy, if I'm at peace, and I can really look at myself as being a good Muslim, I think that's what success is for me.
When was the first time you felt like, yes, I made it, man. I wanted this and I got it. Alhamdulillah, I'm there. I'm here. When you felt like, did you get any that kind of feeling ever?
I don't think I've ever felt that I've made it, simply because I've been constantly stuck in that cycle of doing more, that when I achieve something, it's like, okay, finally this is done now, what do I do next? So I've never really taken that step back. But then sometimes when I look back, I do think that I should have given myself more credit, or just like, you know what, you made it out like in this way, or you did that, you achieved that. Other people probably like they would look at me like, how are you managing this? Whereas I would think, like, I'm not doing enough, which is not good in a way, because then you get in that cycle of being burnt out. But even now, I don't think I can say I've made it. I think there's a lot to do. There's a lot to achieve.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's see.
No, of course, yeah. I mean, when you say a lot to achieve, and what were you thinking? Like, let's get this question out right now. So for next 10 years or 5 years, where do you see, like, what are you thinking? Like, where do you want to get to? Is it just a business, or you want to do something bigger than the business, or what's the plan?
In terms of the business, of course, that would always be there. Scaling it globally, all of that. That's alongside with my family. In terms of on a personal kind of pathway, of course, I would look to get back into kind of my industry again, climbing up the corporate ladder in a way, being in more leadership positions. But most importantly, I really enjoy kind of advocacy work and just doing something in terms of representation. I think in the next 5 years, if I'm in a place where I'm able to influence more young Muslim women, being in a position of some sort of, I don't know, being at the UN General Assembly, speaking about how Muslim women in tech and policy are making changes, being there as a Pakistani woman. Obviously, all of these are visionary things. So this is where I see myself going, like being in some kind of leadership position within the tech industry as well. But at the same time, also working in kind of representation, advocacy, policy, and doing something for myself as a Muslim woman. I think that's what I really want to achieve in life, just doing something as a Muslimah, regardless of what field it is, whether it's tech, whether it's business. Because for me, Islam and my faith is at the anchor, it's the anchor of everything. And like I said, coming back to that success, feeling that peace. So inshallah, whatever I'm doing, I want to make some sort of like a difference, or inspire other young Muslim women to, you know, come out and just be themselves.
And where does the money stand? Like, you know, like in this day and age, where the life we are living in, like, it's all materialistic. Everyone want a big house, big cars, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where the money stands in all this? Like, I understand what you said, but like, you're a young person. What would you think? Like, you know, like, you want to feel like, I want to be a multimillionaire in 10 years time or 5 years time. Do you think like that about money?
I think if you're chasing money, there always comes a time where you will never feel that it's enough. And up until a certain point in life, there's only so much you can improve your quality of life. Maybe have like a car that I really want, travel whenever I want. I think I'm already in a stage, alhamdulillah, where I'm happy with the kind of lifestyle that I have. And again, you can always want more, but I don't focus too much on the money, because if you're chasing money, you will always keep chasing it. If you have, let's say, the nicest sports car, you have a Porsche, you have a Bugatti, you're going to look at someone who has a yacht.
Yeah, of course.
Do you get what I mean? So yeah, for me, alhamdulillah, like, risk is written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever comes, whatever goes. My focus is on building kind of like a legacy and focusing on like the impact I leave behind, rather than just focusing on how much money I'm making.
Yeah. And let's talk about your humanitarian side of things you just mentioned in there as well. Like, what, like, anything, any story from your humanitarian work, still remember कि हाँ यार ये I can't forget, मुझे अभी तक याद है ये बात. ऐसा कुछ था, कभी हुआ?
I've been doing a lot of humanitarian work for a number of years now. Obviously, you see how it's making a difference in the kids' lives when you see them on like the screens, the videos. But one thing that I really, that I really liked was a girl from, so this is not from Pakistan or anyone that we were helping, but she was following me since she was, I think, in year 9 or 10.
Oh, wow. On your Instagram?
Yeah, from my Instagram. And I think last year or something, she came up to me and she was like, you know what, you've really inspired me to be kind of putting myself out there, being in a leadership position. And she was president at the Cambridge Pakistani Society.
Okay.
So, and she said that it's because you really inspired me, and I've been following you since I was in year 9 or 10. So I was like, oh wow, that was a really wholesome moment for me. So it's not just humanitarian work, but I think it all again comes down to that visibility and representation. So if I'm able to inspire others in whatever small capacity.
But you love to see like yourself as a role model. You don't even know there's people are following you, and how
so that obviously it felt really nice. It's kind of like, okay, whatever I'm doing is making a difference, even if I'm inspiring younger girls to kind of come out and really put themselves out there, representing Muslim women, Pakistani women in all these amazing institutes. Like she was at Cambridge, mashallah. So obviously it felt nice that it does pay back in one way or another.
But does it feel you do more? Like, oh,
yeah,
right,
definitely.
I mean, I can be a role model for these girls. So must be so many of them out there, you know. Like,
yeah, it's kind of confirming in what you're doing is working. So it does push me and it inspires me to keep going and doing more, and hopefully inspire more people like that.
Okay, and so now let's talk about. So meaning, like, do you see yourself like as a role model, or how do you feel like?
Yeah, hopefully, inshallah. Like I do see. I mean, again, I've been in that position of being a role model, even for my family, where you have to be, you know, that perfect child, the perfect daughter. So I think it's naturally something that is installed with me to always do something in a way that is inspiring others to be the best version of themselves. So yeah, inshallah, if I would love to see myself inspiring more women, more Muslim women, Pakistani women in various fields.
And I know you're very involved in Pakistan, like, but tell me one issue, one problem you want to solve in Pakistan, and you have got free and you can do. Jo karna hai karo jaake, masla hal karo. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do?
I don't think I can pick one thing. There are multiple things, but I think education would be at the top of that, be it kind of academia or Islamic education. Pakistan is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, but I still think we need more investment and reform in how we are actually teaching Islam to the public. I think education comes in hand a lot here, especially for women, women's economic empowerment, women understanding their rights in Islam. Again, all of that is muddled up in Pakistan. So again, I would really focus on educating women a lot more, not just within, you know, their respective field and industry, but also when it comes to their Islamic rights, more economic empowerment for them. Because again, women, I think they build nations, right? Even when we look back at Islam, like our mothers, Khadija radiallahu anha, Aisha radiallahu anha, they were big role models and they were always supporting our prophets, the Sahaba in every stage of their life. And that's something that I would love to see change in Pakistan.
And how would you change it? What would you do? Have you got something on your mind that, oh, that's what I'll do? You know, for example, I'll make free education and this, and I'll, you know, that anything like that.
Yeah, I would love to obviously maybe have some sort of a system, like starting from schools, colleges, universities, to offer education to those who are not able to. There are many such initiatives like free education in Pakistan. If I can do something like that, that would be amazing. Again, I would really love to focus on the Islamic side of things, because I feel that Islam is quite misunderstood in that sense. I've had to learn a lot about it growing up myself. Again, my parents didn't just impose it on us. They've kind of let us explore it ourselves. Even when it comes to wearing the hijab or like abaya, my parents never asked me to wear hijab. It's something that I started myself, and then my sisters, they as they grew up, they learned about it. So again, I feel like Islam needs to be relearned, not just passed down. So again, focusing on that education side of things, focusing on how we're teaching Islam, how women are women understanding their rights in Islam, their right to education, inheritance, property, economic empowerment, all of that, which can solve a lot of issues.
Women empowerment. Do you think so? Like,
Yeah.
how is it going to solve the lots of issues you just said? Like, what do you think? Like, how is it going to solve the issues if you're going to teach women all that stuff? Because Pakistani men going to be like, whoa, they know everything now. How are we going to control them? So it's going to create more issues, no?
We're turning into Pakistan politics now.
Yeah, a little bit. Let's touch upon that because we are there on the topic of Pakistan.
Yeah.
Let me just pick your mind. What do you think?
I just think in general, I don't think, obviously men are put in that position of leadership in a way, but women are also someone that complement them. I feel like more so in a personal level, not just kind of leading the country, but also how you see women being treated in certain areas of Pakistan. Many women still are stuck in, toxic households, in toxic marriages. Growing up, like kids are not allowed to go to school in many rural areas of Pakistan. Or, we have so many amazing doctors in Pakistan, but I think they're one of the largest countries where, they don't practice once they get married. Again, all of that talent is just being wasted. So, sorry, what was your question again? How would I change it? Yeah, I think it's not about, women are going to come in power and then they're going to change everything. It's just about complementing each other, giving them their right rather than being on top of them and controlling them. I think that's when societies prosper. And we've seen that even in Islam, like our Sahabas, how they have respected, valued and supported their women and what they have achieved. They wouldn't have been able to do so without all the women beside them.
All right, you have worked with Shahid Afridi and few other Pakistani actors. How was the experience working with Shahid Afridi?
So I was a really big Shahid Afridi fan growing up.
Okay.
So during my teenage years, so I've been connected with him for quite some time. And when I was at UCL, I wanted to he started his foundation, so I wanted to get that involved. And from my perspective, again, I saw that there was a gap in our Pakistani community. We weren't kind of working together compared to when we look at the ISOC community, the Indian community. Pakistanis have this thing where they just can't stay united. So I wanted to have some sort of a platform where we can all come together. And Shahid Afridi Foundation was also looking to kind of work with the students at that time.
No, but your experience with Shahid Afridi, actual experience, how was it? How did you find him as a person?
Oh, as a person?
Yeah.
He's nice. I mean, to be honest, they say that don't meet your heroes. For me, he's always been really kind to me, really nice to me. I speak to him quite often. My experience has been normal. Yeah.
And what about Imad Irfani? You worked with him as well.
Imad Irfani, he was really nice, very nice, down to earth, humble. Again, I feel like they're just people at the end of the day, right?
They are.
They're just people at the end of the day. But yeah, my experience has been very nice with pretty much everyone that I've met. I've heard other stories from other people that their experiences have not been that great. But most of the actors or celebrities that I have personally come across, they've been very...
Who else have you worked with on topic of celebrities and actors? And then we're going to move on then.
In terms of work, so I've met a lot of celebrities, like Pakistani celebrities. They come to a lot of the charity events. When you look at Pakistani dramas, for example, like Aiza Khan, I don't know, I forgot her name, Sara Khan, Kubra Khan, Bilal Ashraf, Humayun Saeed. A lot of these are Pakistani names. In terms of international, I've met Malala.
Oh yeah, how was the experience with Malala Yousafzai?
She didn't speak much. I spoke to her dad quite a lot. His dad was he was nice. That was back when I was at UCL. But yeah, like I said, sometimes they're just people at the end of the day. You meet them. I don't really believe in celeb worship as such, to be honest. So whenever I come across someone, I'm just like, okay, good, nice to meet you. I rarely take selfies with them as well, unless I would love to meet Imran Khan. That's the only person I would actually maybe go up to and talk. especially because he's done so much for Pakistan in terms of even just raising awareness in our youth, even if it comes to questioning him. So yeah.
All right, let's do the rapid fire to end with. Yeah. So chai or coffee?
Oh, I'm gonna get hate for this, but I love chai, but I drink coffee more.
Okay. And biggest lessons in business?
Your cash flow is more important than profit, and trust is currency.
And favorite city in Pakistan? And why?
Islamabad.
And why is that?
I think it's just so beautiful, the nature, peaceful, quiet. I just love Islamabad.
And most inspiring leader?
On a personal level, it's of course my parents. On a bigger level, of course, so many Islamic leaders, our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
You talked about Benazir Bhutto
Benazir Bhutto in terms of like culturally, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Basically, anyone who's doing amazing at what they do and representing themselves in whatever capacity, all of them really inspire me. You can learn a lot from everyone. Someone who's not a leader or a normal person down the road who you meet, you could always learn something from them.
Of course. And first big purchase you ever made? Or let's rephrase it. Like first, for example, you wanted to buy some stock and it was from Pakistan. You're getting it here from your factories and stuff. So when you were signing the first check, that's the money you're gonna invest in stuff. So how was that experience?
So my personal like kind of client deal was like, I'm not going to say the figure, but it was good, like 6 figures something. So I think that was like me feeling like, oh look, now I'm finally leading the family business kind of.
No, but then it comes with the pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, it comes with the pressure. Of course, it's a big order. You have to make sure, and then you're thinking about the timely delivery and everything. That was like a big purchase for business. Personally, I'm not sure about big purchase, but my first kind of splurge, which wasn't that much, but it was from my first part-time job, which I spent on like a purse or something. It was like £500. Again, it's not that much, but because it was just my first part-time job and I just spent that on like a purse.
All right, okay. Yeah. And one word to describe your leadership style?
I would say perhaps assertive and community focused.
What people tell you, like people around you, they should tell you, like, oh, that's your style. I like your leadership style.
I think they say that I'm very confident. I'm very spontaneous, quite assertive. I'm good at like delegating, thinking a lot on the spot. They always rely on me for things. And so reliable, I guess.
Of course, that's a good quality. Yeah. And earlier you mentioned you know 4 languages. You can speak 4 languages. So I wanted to find out like what languages you can speak and understand, and the most attractive language in the world for you. So
of course Urdu. I can speak Urdu. That comes with like Punjabi as well. Tiny bit of Pashto. German, because I grew up in Austria. I can speak German. English, of course. In terms of attractive language, Arabic. Oh, I wish I could speak Arabic. It's not just beyond like the spiritual value of Arabic, but I just think it just sounds so nice. Urdu as well, it just sounds so nice, like Urdu poetry. So yeah, those 2 languages. All right, thank you very much, Bakhtaver. That was great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.